Coming up in the morning edition, the new traffic rules as you hit the streets today. The Prime Minister touring parts of Grand Bahama this weekend. And painting the lanes pink for a worthy cause. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and welcome to the morning edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Some early morning showers leaving the streets a bit wet with lingering clouds. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean is live with your weather report.
Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
Good morning, LaDawn. In the tropics this morning, an area of low pressure is expected to form on a fault boundary midway between Bermuda and the Azores, and yet another area of low pressure is expected to form midway between Bermuda and the east coast of the United States. Now, none of these systems will affect the Bahamas, so no concerns there at all. But what do concern us is a mid to upper level trough over the central and southeastern Bahamas. That, coupled with a surface trough over the northwest Bahamas, will continue to support pockets of showers today and tonight. But outside of our studios, we're under mostly cloudy skies. Your temperature 79 degrees, relative humidity at 88%, south-southeast winds at 9 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,011.6 millibars, that's 29.87 inches, and the pressure is falling. Your temperatures around the Isles this morning, 79 degrees in Marsh Harbor, also Greentown, Key, and Freeport at 79. The Berry Islands 81 degrees, Allenstown, Bimini 81 in Harbour Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, Otterstown, Cat Island, 80 degrees, 79 in Staniel Key and Kemps Bay, South Andres, Fresh Creek at 80 degrees, 80 also in San Salvador and Rum Key, in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, 81 degrees, Betsy Bay, Maguana, 82, Acklands, 82, Matitani, Nagua, and the Turks and Caicos Islands also at 82 degrees. And your boating forecast for today in the northwestern islands, the winds are going to be southeast to south at 15 to 20 knots, rough seas at 4 to 6 feet over the ocean, so caution flags are up for boaters in the northwest Bahamas. Tide-wise, it's going to be low at 8:50 this morning. High tide will take place at 3:13 in the afternoon. And for the central and southeastern islands, the winds will be southerly at 10 to 15 knots and the wave fights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your first look at weather in the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot. As you hit the streets across the country this morning, make sure put down those cell phones. Some new traffic rules have taken effect today. Lloyd Allen and the Morning Edition team is standing by with the Bahamas First traffic report.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Well, good morning, LaDawn. Good morning, Bahamas. Well, today is the start of a new week with new rules set to govern drivers throughout the length and breadth of the country. Many of those rules include the proper use of the yellow box, which has been in place for several months now. Also, the option to turn left on a traffic light, a red traffic light, once the all clear is there, and that's as long as no cars or pedestrians are obstructing your turn. And then lastly, the use of a handheld device that's not permitted while you're driving here in the country. Now, last week we spoke with several drivers who talked about their excitement of these new rules set to take place. And one of those suggestions that was given was to use a Bluetooth device that allows you to use your phone. Say, for example, you're making a phone call, dialing out, checking your messages. Those Bluetooth devices gives you the options to maneuver and continue business, so to speak, as you make your way throughout the streets. But of course, as you can see right here behind me, we're in the area of Soldier Road, Prince Charles Drive. Traffic is definitely building in this area, and throughout the country, many officers are on the road ensuring the drivers properly use and execute those proper rules moving forward. But of course, reporting to you here, Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road. It's a great start to a beautiful week. LaDawn, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Now onto our top story this morning. The nation's leader, Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, leading a delegation to the easternmost end of Grand Bahama over the weekend. He viewed once again the devastation left behind by Hurricane Dorian over 1 month ago. The communities in the east, once known for their tranquility and down-home feel, are now in shambles. The Prime Minister noted that it is essential for him to view firsthand the devastation so that residents can rebuild.
it's essential for everybody to know that it's not just a microwave effect. It's not going to happen overnight, but we must all work together in rebuilding. But it gives us an opportunity to build even better. And the government has put systems in place to assist residents in terms of loan, grants, etc. And we'd ensure that it's fair so that everybody would have an opportunity. They would be able to apply, but we would explain all of that as we go forward. We have two systems in place. You can access money for supplies and access money also for contractors. Some individuals may have supplies and may not have contractors, and therefore they can use the money for contractors, and maybe vice versa. But we most certainly would do all we can to get residents, especially commerce. As you know, small businesses makes up the bulk of your employment statistics and data. So it's essential to get those small commerce back and operational.
The Prime Minister also heard the concerns of residents in the various communities, reassuring them that the government is putting plans in place to make the reconstruction process smooth and efficient as possible. He said it was inspiring to see residents on the ground taking steps to rebuild.
What is most amazing to me, in spite of what they've gone through, they're on the ground already cleaning, trying to rebuild their lives, and they want, it's quite obvious that they want to get back as quickly as possible, and they're doing that. I went into one particular home, it's amazing the amount of cleaning that they've done already. I went to another area where there were several lodges and commercial businesses that an individual had built, and he's already started repairing again, and he said only thing he needs, because he don't have any insurance, but the thing he needs at this particular point in time is to access the small loan grant policy or system of the government so as to get him going. And individuals of that ilk and who is showing that desire and that eagerness to get going as quickly as possible, I think that's the type of individual you bend over backward to assist as quickly as possible, because you know that he will do all to ensure that visitors, tourists, etc. come back and support him, support the community, support his business.
Meantime, government workers over in Abaco are expected to return home in the coming days. Minister of Public Service and National Insurance, the Honorable Brenzo Rule, visited Abaco and viewed the damage to buildings owned by the National Insurance Board, including the government complex in Marsh Harbor.
We had a company hired to do the cleanup and sanitization of the area, and we are generally here to support the public service.
Were you satisfied with what you've seen when you were here?
Yes, we're making tremendous progress, and government agencies should be available for work next week.
Here in Abaco or?
Here in Abaco.
So those public service workers who come here, they are homeless from the hurricane. Where are they gonna reside, or is there any plan for that?
Well, we're working with them to see the extent to which they become very comfortable. Some of them are eager to get back home, and that's what we're seeking to do.
Officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, or NEMA, have partnered with several international disaster organizations to assist with logistics in Abaco and Grand Bahama after Hurricane Dorian. Now, one of those organizations is Pacific Disaster Center of Hawaii. Representative Scott Kuhn Kendall, while in Abaco, told us that his colleagues have been assisting NEMA's leadership with managing the Emergency Operations Center since the severe storm left the Bahamas.
So we're trying to figure out the best use of the manpower here without tying people down to tents here, being able to get them to do the reporting but get out into the field to help the people as much as possible. So we've been looking at the positions here, looking at the people that are available, and working with NEMA directly to figure out how we can do that. I'm amazed at the different scene already, just with the cleanup and the people and the things that are doing. And I think we've realized that the best use of manpower here is to get them out in the field and helping the people and getting things cleaned up as best possible so we can begin that recovery and reconstruction part.
Pacific Disaster Center officials also provided NEMA with technical support.
So we have some folks who are GIS experts, so as people go out and maybe establish shelters or establish distribution points and things of that nature, we can get all that information, we can put them on maps and get them out to people so it can easily be shared, and you can look at one document and know exactly where people can go for help.
Commonwealth Secretary General, the Right Honorable Patricia Scotland, arrived here in the Bahamas yesterday to view the devastation left behind by Hurricane Dorian on Grand Bahama and Abaco. She is also expected to visit Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, at his office sometime today. She toured Abaco on Sunday and told our news team in an interview that seeing the damage firsthand was heartbreaking and humbling. The Commonwealth executive was pleased to learn that Abaco residents have a resilient spirit to rebuild their community. The Commonwealth Secretary General also acknowledged that the organization is placing more emphasis on climate change, which she says described as a climate crisis.
And back in 1989, that's 30 years ago, we as a Commonwealth family said if there is any delay, the consequences to our nations, particularly our small, vulnerable island nations, would be totally devastating. And what has happened here in Abaco and Grand Bahama is going to happen again. And it's not a case of if anymore, it's when and to whom.
We have an update this morning on those students airlifted out of Andros for suspected carbon monoxide poisoning. Ministry of Health officials confirmed that the 47 of the 49 students and the bus driver are doing well and have safely returned to Fresh Creek, Andros. 2 students with improving conditions remain in hospital for further monitoring. The students from the Central Andros High School and their bus driver were initially assessed and treated at the Fresh Creek Clinic in Andros. However, as a precautionary measure, the Ministry of Health successfully arranged for the affected children, an accompanying parent and guardian, and the bus driver to be flown to New Providence and transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital for additional treatment. Now, in a statement, the Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands, and executives of the Ministry of Health expressing pride and gratitude to the agencies that collaborated and swiftly responded to providing quality health care and services following the Fresh Creek Andros mass casualty incident on Friday. Stay close, we've got more news right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
Look, it's simple. Fidelity can consolidate all your bills with our debt consolidation loan. Give you 1 monthly payment and money in your pocket.
So let me get this straight, Miss Financial Coach. You say something about cash in my pocket?
Yes.
And a savings plan with 5% interest? Wow, finally! A bank that's looking out for me. What you want me to sign?
That's not all. We also offer competitive interest rates and free financial coaching.
Miss Fidelity, you ain't hear me. Where do I sign?
You are welcome to join Apostle Gino Jennings during the First National Holy Conference of the Bahama Islands of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ Incorporated, under the theme, Stand Your Ground. Services will begin Friday, October 11th at 7:30 p.m., continue to Sunday, October 12th at 7:30 p.m. 2 services on Sunday, October 13th at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. See you at First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ, located in Grantstown, formerly United Apostolic Church. For more information, call 427-4848 or the church at 326-5047.
As an artist, I travel all over the world and I find inspiration all around me, from the people and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty, from Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
Diabetic eye disease is caused by changes in the blood vessels of your retina. This disease is the most common cause of vision loss among patients with diabetes and is the leading cause of blindness and visual impairment in working-age adults. Symptoms of diabetic eye disease can include floaters in your vision, blurred vision, fluctuating vision, impaired color vision, or generalized loss of vision. Smoking can quadruple your risk of progression of this disease. Bottom line is, smoking will cause you to go blind faster with diabetes. So quit smoking. Also, for expectant mothers who are diabetic, It is very important that you have your eyes examined during pregnancy, as rapid changes can occur in your eyes during pregnancy. And remember, good eye health is a combined effort between your eye care team, your medical doctors, and you, the patient.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority in conjunction with the Medical Association of the Bahamas and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Welcome back. It's been a little over a month now since Hurricane Dorian battered the islands of Abaco and Freeport, leaving thousands displaced, at least 60 dead, and more than 600 still missing. Local prominent photographer Sherrod Lightbourne has created a public service announcement video featuring a number of familiar faces to highlight the impact of Hurricane Dorian on the Bahamas. Sherrod, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Thank you for having me.
So Sherrod, talk to me a little bit about the inspiration behind the PSA and video.
Well, shortly after the hurricane had left the Bahamas, a lot of my close friends were on the ground doing a lot of work on Abaco and in Grand Bahama. And so my wife came to me and she said, well, we need to be doing something. Like, not everybody can give a lot of money, not everybody can give supplies. What can we do as creatives? And so she said, we should do a PSA. And I said, okay, that's pretty cool. How are we going to get all these people together? So, we reached out to a lot of different people, different sectors, from religion to education to sports to, we have a whole gamut of Bahamians who agreed. And, we called them and we said, we are doing something that's going to help garner more awareness for the hurricane victims, and we just want to build that awareness, and as creatives use our voices and our faces to keep pushing and spread a message of hope. And literally everyone that we called had said yes, and so that's kind of how we started this whole, it just snowballed into what it is today.
Talking about the contents of the video and who's actually being featured, any familiar faces that we may know?
I don't want to not leave on anybody. We have a lot of familiar faces, like I said, from all over the country, from all over the Bahamas, as well as different sectors. So we tried to make it as diverse as possible, and so I think it'll be interesting when we launch the video today. People will get to see, people who they know, but the message is more important. It's more so about that message of hope, that message of we can rebuild together. This has happened, this tragic event has happened, but together as a country we can all help in some way.
What kind of impact are you expecting this video to have on your viewing audience?
Well, we don't really know how far it's going to go. We're just going to launch it and see what happens. Social media is a very powerful tool. And the country, everybody knows everybody. It's always 1 degree of separation. So we hope that when we launch it, people will get the right message. They'll feel inspired to help and share it with their friends and family, and we'll see what happens.
What's your thought on the tragedy over there in Abaco and Freeport? Residents are now rebuilding.
I mean, it's great that we're now rebuilding, and we've gotten so much help, not only from a national standpoint, from an international standpoint as well. I have friends and colleagues and some family members who lived in those islands and who experienced the hurricane. We'll never really, I personally will never know what it felt like to go through such a devastating event. But we feel it in our hearts, and again, the whole premise of doing this whole thing was to do something to help.
And how long did the video take for you to actually put it all together?
It was a full day of shooting. Everybody came in. We had different time slots. I worked with Jiggy Productions, Sharon Young, Craig Joaquin, along with my wife, and we had a good solid team. And so we worked furiously throughout the day. We started very early, ended very late, but we are very happy with the final product. So we hope that when people see it, they're moved.
So where can persons go to actually see the video?
Well, we're going to launch it all over the place. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's going to be everywhere. Hopefully later today, people will get to see it.
Sherrod Lightbourne, thank you so much for joining us here on the Morning Edition.
Thank you
Best
very
of luck
much.
on your
Thanks
new
for having
initiative. More now to share with you how those students out of Grand Bahama are faring at the University of Hampton following the storm over in Grand Bahama. Lloyd Allen spoke with an executive at that university.
According to Worsey, around $800,000 was invested by Hampton University to house the 47 students for the fall 2019 school term. That decision, she says, was born from a conversation between former colleagues, with the one simply checking up on the other after the passing of Dorian. What prompted you to actually move toward that end?
Well, President Harvey, when the Hurricane Dorian occurred, he wanted to check on his friend, Dr. Rodney Smith. Dr. Rodney Smith actually was the vice president here at Hampton University in the very near past.
Worsey says Smith indicated to Harvey that the campuses had sustained significant damage and the university needed help. So after Harvey slept on this information, he then determined to make the offer to assist the students and to help his friend with the challenges at the time. Generally, how are students acclimating themselves to that new environment? Obviously, there would have been some psychological impact to those students as a result of Dorian, but how are they adjusting?
Yes, so far from my observation, they are adjusting very well. They are becoming part of the Hampton University family. They're feeling very comfortable and free. They are a little chilly in the mornings and the evenings as the temperatures dip, but we're making sure that they are warmly welcomed.
With business studies accounting for the largest portion of programs the Bahamian students are currently enrolled, Worsey was asked about the diversity overall within the special cohort. There are several, obviously, students coming in from several degree areas. As with Christoph, he's studying history, but with the other students, what degree programs are they enrolled under?
They range in majors from the biological sciences to engineering to journalism, nursing.
Worsey says instructors have allocated an hour weekly to assist the students, and across the campus, accommodations continue allowing the students to catch up and complete assignments. Are there any other options being made available for those students to really get back to a place of normalcy?
Yes, well, we have a full-service counseling department with licensed psychologists and counselors, and so they are invited to visit. And actually, the counselors would come to them as well, because we know sometimes they may not want to really seek it out. So the counselors are actively going to them in a group setting, asking, just for discussion. And then if they want to come individually to them, they're encouraged to do so.
Worsey says with the end of semester approaching, the university will continue to do all it can to assist the students in their educational journey and to restoring their lives past Dorian. Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Well, Breast Cancer Awareness Month continues, and many companies are continuing to roll out events in support of breast cancer. One such event is Paint the Lanes Pink, hosted this past weekend at the Mario's Bowling Alley with over 70 vendors. Mario's Bowling Palace manager Leslie Miller-Bryce.
It started with a vision where we just wanted to bring awareness to breast cancer. We realized that cancer was increasing so much in our country, and we decided to let's try to find a way that we get persons more involved in wanting to get tested, wanting to know about the disease. And so we chose a very fun event to bring awareness. We have lots of breast cancer survivors who have come to tell their story. That is really what we really want to do, is for survivors to come in and bring encouragement, bring hope, let persons know that you can survive this, you can fight it. Early detection is key, and so that's what we're pushing today.
There were a number of breast cancer survivors in attendance, including Angela Culmer and Julia Saunders, who shared their stories and offered their support.
Initially, when you hear the word cancer, you think it's a death sentence, and I initially did, but I spoke to some breast cancer survivors who encouraged me that you will get through this. By the grace of God, I got through it. I was able to go away. The doctors there reassured me it's a normal, it was a highly invasive breast carcinoma. They said this is normal, and I had the surgery. I didn't have to have chemotherapy. I had radiation, and it was just a coincidence this year that I had a mammogram because I hadn't had it for 2 years.
I've seen the difference. I know what I can do. I know the work that we do and how it makes a difference. I am so much more impressed by my student, Sister Collegiate chapter at UB, at the University of the Bahamas. They are nursing students, most of them, and they make the time to help with this support, because we also have students who show up with breast cancer and different types of cancer.
When you enter the New Providence Ecology Park, also known as the City Dump, you can't help but to notice the large amount of scrap metal and tires as high as mountains in various sections of that facility. But that's about to change pretty soon as the park embarks on its new recycling initiative. Project Manager Tim Hodge explains.
The primary thing we're doing is organics recovery, and that means taking green waste, taking wood waste, and other material we're finding in the waste stream and keeping it out of the landfill and running it through a composting and recycling process. And so that material can be turned back into mulch, into soil. We can either use it here on site as part of our landfill operations, and ultimately at some point we'll start doing retail compost and mulch sales as a result of all that. Additionally, we're handling a lot of construction demolition debris, and there's a lot of the large projects that are happening, a lot of that debris is coming to us. Instead of just putting it in the landfill, we're taking it, cutting out the concrete, using it in our operations. We're setting aside the scrap for ultimate resale and recycling, and having a very nice, effective program for that. We are in the midst of developing our proper kind of traditional recycling program, which will be containers, and that will be glass, bottle, cans, and we anticipate that, and we're hoping the next 6 months that will be up and running.
Area Member of Parliament for Tall Pines, Don Saunders, says children in his constituency are already actively involved in the Cans for Kids initiative. Additionally, he confirmed that NPEP will partner with them to educate Bahamians about the importance of recycling and how they can be a part of the project.
We have the cleanup project continuously going on an ongoing basis. That's last week we had containers in the various areas in Tall Pines. We intend to continue those projects by going into the neighborhood schools. Garvin Times is a school that we have kind of adopted over the years, and so we plan to go in there in the next few weeks to reintroduce the project to them. And if you were to go to our constituency office, we have a bin there already. We have cans there that we take in to recycle, and so we're speaking with the company. A few months ago, they've agreed to work with us, and so we look forward to expanding that, and we hope that not only Tall Pines get involved in this, other communities see the importance of being environmentally concerned about what's going on in your community and the impact that have on communities at large.
And when we come back, a local church extending its reach to assist Hurricane Dorian victims, so stay close.
You are welcome to join Apostle Gino Jennings during the First National Holy Conference of the Bahama Islands of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ Incorporated, under the theme, Stand Your Ground. Services will begin Friday, October 11th at 7:30 p.m., continue to Sunday, October 12th at 7:30 p.m. Two services on Sunday, October 13th at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. See you at First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ, located in Grantstown, formerly United Apostolic Church. For more information, call 427-4848 or the church at 326-5047.
Hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver, which is the organ responsible for filtering toxins from the body, producing bile for digestion, and producing proteins and clotting factors. The most important cause of hepatitis worldwide is viruses, of which there are 5 main types: A, B, C, D, and E. Hepatitis B and C are major health challenges globally, affecting over 300 million persons worldwide. The suspicion of hepatitis may be a challenge, as there are typically no symptoms. However, if infected, non-specific symptoms may include decreased appetite, nausea, vague abdominal discomfort, jaundice or yellow eyes, and abnormal liver function tests. If not treated, hepatitis of any type can lead to cirrhosis and liver cancer, which leads to over 1 million deaths worldwide. If you suspect you may have been exposed to the virus that causes hepatitis, talk to your doctor today and get tested.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority in conjunction with the Medical Association of the Bahamas and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
traffic laws, as we said earlier, take effect today, and those potential fines could impact your driver's license. Lloyd Allen is live with those heading the police and road traffic divisions. Good morning again, Lloyd.
Yes, again, good morning, LaDawn. As we said previously, a new set of rules set to take effect for the motoring public and for the country as the government seeks to improve road and driving conditions for all. We have Chief Superintendent Craig Stubbs from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who's given drivers a friendly reminder of what those new rules are. Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning, Bahamas.
So what can drivers, what is now expected from drivers as they make their way throughout the Bahamas?
Well, as you see, we are here now at the Soldier Road, Robinson Road, and the Prince Charles intersection. At this intersection, there's a yellow box. The yellow box simply means that no vehicles must remain stationary within that yellow box, must be constant moving. For vehicles traveling in either direction, if you come to the intersection and there's traffic at the other end and you cannot cross or without blocking the intersection, you have to remain stationary and allow traffic to flow. Once you are seeing the way is clear to move forward, we ask you to do so. Now, it is a hefty fine. Persons in breach of committing offenses by remaining stationary in the yellow blocks and blocking the intersection, and there is a fine. You can be fined anywhere from $300.
How much again?
$300 for blocking the intersection or misuse of the yellow box junction regulations.
Now, also taking effect today, we know about the no handheld device during driving, as well as drivers can approach a red traffic light, turn left once the all clear, no oncoming vehicles and pedestrians. Is that correct?
That is correct also. The law simply states that no driver at no time must have in their hand or any other part of their body a handheld communication device, meaning cell phone. For the past 2-3 months since the bill was tabled, we know a lot of the telecommunication companies would have been offering wireless headsets to assist their customers. We ask you to utilize them. If you're found with a cell phone in your hand while driving, or any part of your body, some persons have a tendency of placing it on their shoulder and then resting the head on it, it's a $500 fine. No if and no buts. It's a $500 fine, and we will be enforcing it. For the past weeks, through PSAs and the social media, the information as related to these new amendments were being published, circulated throughout the land of the Bahamas. So this morning is a zero tolerance approach. It's going to be enforcement aspect. It is consistent with the road safety initiatives. We are seeing too many accidents, some with injuries, some fatal, on streets of Providence in the Grand Bahama and more likely the Family Islands, where the use of cell phones were contributed to a lot of the accidents.
Now, another thing I wanted to ask you about with the yellow box, one of those things that I found out as I was researching it is that if you turn, say for example, you're heading eastbound and you're making a right turn. If you're making that right turn and you have the all clear, of course you can turn. But if persons are turning left, they should always, well, in either way, there should never be any obstruction.
Never. You're correct with that. Yeah. Never. But at this intersection here, if you're traveling east, you cannot make that right turn on the Soldier Road. Oh. Now that's an offense. Okay. But yes, you can make that. Once you ascertain, you can enter the yellow box, and once the way is clear, you can make your turn. Mm-hmm. If your way is not clear to make that turn, we ask you to remain stationary and allow traffic to flow. It's no rush to get from point A to point B. If you allow traffic to flow, everything will work its way out.
And I like how you said Bluetooth devices are also an option for drivers who need to continue with conversations. That's another option for persons. Yes?
That is correct. Mm-hmm. It is a distraction also, but we're saying to them, make use of them. We know some of the modernized vehicles have that capabilities in the vehicle where you can find with your sound system, it has a Bluetooth feature that will allow you to pair your phone and to communicate as you drive. Be asking driver motorists to use that, but stay alert. Be alert at all times as you commute from one point to the next point. Also, we have the open bottle container. And that is the next law that came in effect today, and that too will be enforced. It says specifically, no driver at no time shall have in his possession or within that vehicle any open container that contains alcoholic beverage.
Now, I know sometimes some people have a tendency to actually pour the liquor into another container. How does that work?
Still open container. It had to be open in order to get into one container.
Right.
So we know persons are going to try their best to circumvent the law and give us the excuses, but we are ready. We are prepared for the day, and we're prepared to take it till full length to make sure that those persons who are in breach, they are prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
I'm going to also use this opportunity to ask you the question. I know in the States it's prominent where drivers are tested for their alcohol levels. Is that something that the Royal Bahamas Police Force does as well, if you suspect?
Yes. We have means to see that the driver is tested for his alcoholic level. And all those initiatives we're going to put in effect, and they will be enforced. There's a zero tolerance approach. Our aim, I think everybody every member of the motoring public should say, hey, look, it is my job to arrive alive. It's my job to ensure safety of other road users. And that is the primary message this morning.
All right, good stuff, and some good advice as we make our way to our various destinations this morning. But LaDon, reporting back to you from the intersection of Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road. Make it a great morning.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Now to Grand Bahama for more stories unfolding in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian.
We decided that we were going to utilize the center and conduct daytime community school. We've been doing it now for the past 3.5 weeks, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Some 57 youngsters from throughout Grand Bahama registered for the community school. Director Kevin Tomlinson says the idea is to keep the children productive whilst they wait for their school to reopen.
The kids have really been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. Other people who've been working it feel it. It's something different. We need something different other than the conventional, and a lot of parents are right now looking for something different for their children and so forth. And that's why the homeschool community is really growing in Freeport, because the classrooms are cluttered, and you'll find that kids are getting lost now in the school, and so you need more and more smaller charter programs. The reality is do it where these children have avenues to become the best of who they're supposed to be.
Now the community school caters to children of all ages, and many of them have personal stories to tell about what they experienced during Hurricane Dorian.
We had a roof damage, but it was leaking right now. When the rain come, it just started to leak.
It was kind of scary hearing about people having to run and having to go and hide and just don't know what to do.
My roof was caving, and the water to reach the back door of my house, but it didn't come inside.
We had some trees falling down, and the fence fell, and leaves, and the roof started to leak.
The youngsters also expressing what they're feeling 1 month later.
Scared in a way, like how we gonna build back the Freeport. I shouldn't say the Bahamas. Freeport, Abaco. How plenty of people missing and families don't get the closure what they need.
I just feel sad. Like, it's very devastating.
It makes me feel sad, sometimes angry at the same time. I mean, it's just Mother Nature. It's not really nothing you could do about it. That's just life.
Pray. That's all we need to do now. Pray and depend on God and do stuff ourselves. We have to work to achieve what we need to achieve.
Director Kevin Tomlinson encourages teachers who would like to assist in the community school to give him a call.
If you want to come and volunteer with some time, feel free to come on down here by the center. I'm on East Sunrise Highway, the roundabout by near Boulevard, and come. We start at 9 a.m. and we end at 3. So they can give me a call. The number is on the flyer, or they go to my Facebook page, and you can call me and we can set up your time that they can come in, and with age group and so forth and everything to work with them.
Rumiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Officials at Bahamas Faith Ministries welcomed hurricane survivors to their church this weekend, feeding them not only physically but spiritually as well. The initiative was called Bahamas Faith Ministries Operation of Hope, and their agenda was to make the people feel loved by giving them emotional and spiritual support while providing food, clothing, and bags filled with necessities. Coordinator Pastor Suzette Darville says it was so important for them to show love and care to the evacuees.
we wanted to take the hope to them that no matter you went through a storm, that your life has just begun. No matter where you may start, because some people are starting this situation after the storm at almost like ground zero with nothing. They've lost homes, they've lost family members, they've lost their homes. And so we wanted to take and show them that there's still hope beyond the storm.
Pastor of BFM, Dave Burrows, said it was a day for hope for these hurricane survivors who have been through so much.
A lot of these people today were feeling condemned. Some of them feeling like, well, we are the reason the storm happened. So I had to reassure them that, hey, God is not condemning you, and He loves you, and He wants the best for you. And the best way to do that is to get your heart right and to make sure that you can benefit from what He has designed for us. And I also, wanted to make sure that they understand that there's hope. Every one of us who are made by God, the Bible says we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So they need to know that there are no second-class citizens in the kingdom of God. All of us are equal. God has good plans for all of us.
Fisher, I see Lloyd wearing his pink ribbon. I'm wearing pink. Where's your?
Well, I told you last week I didn't have much pink clothes, but Unifa Sherman, our newsroom secretary, she is sewing me a nice pink suit that I'm going to wear soon. Linda Sands from HR made sure that Unifa fixed me up this year. Last year she promised to sew me a suit. She didn't get to it, but I'm getting that suit, so be ready for that pink suit, pink shoes, pink shirt. I'm doing it all for Breast Cancer Month.
What's coming up in sports?
Coming up in sports, John Crow Jones of the Connecticut Sun yesterday losing a hard break at home. Also, we're going to check in with veteran tennis player Mark Knowles. He has a lot to say on the future of tennis here in the 242.
All of that and more ahead in sports.
You are welcome to join Apostle Gino Jennings during the First National Holy Conference of the Bahama Islands of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ Incorporated, under the theme, Stand Your Ground. Services will begin Friday, October 11th at 7:30 p.m., continue to Sunday, October 12th at 7:30 p.m. Two services on Sunday, October 13th at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. See you at First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ, located in Grantstown, formerly United Apostolic Church. For more information, call 427-4848 or the church at 326-5047.
Explore the world of agriculture with us. Join me, your host, Carla Palmer, for continued adventures in agriculture and the marine environment as we head into Season 2 of the program, Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now, moving to a new date and time, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m., right here on the ZNS Television Network.
Hi, I'm Stuart Cove, and for many years, I've taken pride in introducing young Bahamians and international visitors to the wonders of our Bahamian underwater world. Our marine ecosystem helps to keep our tourism industry and fisheries sector healthy and lucrative. We must all do our part in protecting it for future generations. And that is why I ensure our staff and customers are taught about the importance of coral reefs. I do this and more to protect our underwater life because I care. Do you?
For the latest news and highlights in Bahamian culture, tune in to the new Junkadoo 242, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network, Radio Bahamas 1540 a.m. on 104.5 FM and TV 13. Each week, host Arlene Nash Ferguson and Darren Bastiat engages listeners with some of the movers and shakers of Junkadoo and Bahamian culture. Don't miss Junkadoo 242, Saturday at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network.
Well, it's time for sports on a Monday morning. John Crow Jones and the Connecticut Sun looking to go up 2-1 in the WNBA Best of 5 finals yesterday, but they didn't expect the Washington Mystics to have Deladone back in the lineup as she was nursing a herniated disc in her back. Connecticut Sun not taking advantage of the home court opportunity as they fell behind early in Game 3. to the Washington Mystics by as many as 12 after one quarter, and they never regrouped, losing 94-81 to Trill. The best of 5 series now, 2-1. John Creel only took 8 shots and was 3 for 8 from the field and finished with 9 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 steals. They must win Game 4 for the Sun on Tuesday, back on their home court, or they'll watch Washington celebrate. Meantime, Buddy Hield and the Sacramento Kings completed their NBA preseason tour of India. That's the birthplace of the team's owner, with 2 losses to the Indiana Pacers. Buddy putting up 28 in the Game 1, 132-131 overtime loss, and 17 in the 130-106 Game 2 defeat. It's the preseason, so it's all about getting the chemistry together and putting on a show for the fans.
When the Pacers was losing, they was going for the Pacers. And when we started losing, they went for the Kings. But it was a great atmosphere. And, like, those kids remember for the rest of their lives, you know, us coming down here, playing game basketball on the highest level. You know, in India, like Coach said, you know, it's big time. And I enjoyed myself. I'm still enjoying myself here. You know, the people in India are very welcoming and they treat you with a lot of respect. So I'm happy to be here.
Government League Slow Pitch Championship on the weekend at the Blue Hills Sporting Complex. Let's take a look on the ladies' side, where the Electro Telecom Invaders swept their series with the Police Interceptors, taking the clinches Sunday, once again at the Blue Hills Bankers Field, 12-2.
For the past 15 years, the Invaders was winning until the defense force came in. The defense force came in and they stopped our rain. Now we continuing back. Man, we clobbering teams in this league, clobbering. This is a good camaraderie. You know, we always try to motivate them by talking trash to them, because, you know, I'm the mouth of the South. You know, when I start talking, I just go. But all in all, this is a good series, because I think this police team will give a better competition to the other police team who we beat up, because this is a slugfest between both of them. And, you know, we could be victorious on top because we go slug them.
Pro baseball player Josh Ronald Chisholm started the season in the Arizona D-back system, the team that drafted him a few years ago. Midway through the season, he was traded to the Miami Marlins organization, where he joined fellow Bahamian Anthony Seymour.
Crazy because, you know, a couple of days before that, the Marlins actually, they put me in the office and they was asking me about Jazz. They also asked me about Lucius. You know, they asked me about a couple guys from the Bahamas, you know, who they had interest in and stuff like that. And a day later, Jazz was on my team, and I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. You know, it's good to have another Bahamian and another 2 Bahamians, you know, Ian too. I haven't seen him as yet because he's been in, I guess, rookie ball. So haven't seen him, but it's just excited, you know, excited for spring training and what's to come.
Mark Knowles retired from professional tennis in 2012, having won every major slam doubles title. 7 years later, he still has that itch to swing again with the young boys.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I don't think there's an athlete that doesn't miss competing. I definitely miss it. You know, it's hard to replace that. It's hard to replace the highs. It's also hard to replace the lows. You don't miss the lows, but you know, there's a process there. The winning and the losing, and you know. But I think for most athletes, I'm very comfortable with where I'm at. You know, the reason I retired was I wanted to be with my family more. I got 3 beautiful kids. My wife and I we're very fortunate to spend a lot of time with them. So that's a lot of fun, and you know, I've carried that over to their wishes, their desires, their aspirations.
Mark now went to his second career as a commentator with the Tennis Channel, something he loves doing and still being close to the sport.
It's great still coming around because a lot of Bahamians still follow and watch me on Tennis Channel, which is great, and they're proud of my accomplishments still, and obviously I'm flying the flag of the Bahamas all the time, almost too much for my producers at Tennis Channel, but you know, so I spent a lot of time still involved in the game of tennis. I coached some guys recently, coached Milos Raonic 2 years ago. Last year I coached Jack Sock a little bit, so I'm very, you know, tuned into the game, still very close to the game. You know, it's a game I've loved since I was a kid, and I still love it. I don't get to play at a professional level anymore. I still play some exhibitions and so forth, and we kind of have our competitive outings, but it's not the same, obviously, as competing for Grand Slams and big matches, but I'm always going to be involved in tennis. Tennis has given me so much.
The North American Opti Sailing Championships wrapping up last week. More than 160 young sailors from 20 countries maneuvered through the waters just off Montague Bay. With all that action on the water, Bahamian Paul Harding was one of those trying to get the right shots.
It's amazing. I mean, you see their skill, and they're so young. Some of these guys are only 8 years old.
and they can come past us within inches. It's fabulous. I mean, they're so well qualified for this. I like to go close. I like to get the kids as they're in action. I mean, the shots against the sun, the shots when they come past us, you can see the concentration on them. It's really wild. Well, we use them for freelance publication. So anybody, I've got friends in the Canadian High Commission, so I was shooting some Canadian boats back then. And our Bahamas boys, of course, we got to get them.
Also joining us on the press boat was Melissa Mora. She too amazed with the way the young skippers cruise through the waters with such ease at a young age.
Every day during the races I've been driving by on the Eastern Road because that's where I live, or just down there, and I stop whenever I see them. They're like little white butterflies on the horizon, and I've been taking pictures from different angles because it's such a unique and wonderful thing to see. I love this sport because it teaches all the kids to not be afraid of the water and also to have some discipline, to be respectful of the environment. I think it's an amazing sport. I'm just loving it. Feel very privileged to be here. Most of them are like 8 years old from the Bahamas, so the rest of they're competing against kids that are much older, and I think it's going to teach them experience, humility, learning to compete with older people, and it's going to be a great life lesson for them.
Amateur boxer Lennox Bryce just back from Florida, where he won over top-notch fighters. Right now his preparation is on Tokyo 2020.
To put God first and to train really hard to make sure that I have very fast hand speed, to make sure that my reflexes are extremely up to standard, and to make sure that I have the right strength and conditioning. I plan on working more combinations, eating healthier, and just being the complete fighter overall.
And that's going to put a wrap on sports on a Monday morning. But don't forget, coming up at 9 o'clock on the OT on 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and also on the ZNS television network, we'll be talking bodybuilding as our team leaves this coming week for the CAC Games in the Dominican Republic. That's the OT at 9 o'clock this morning on 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and also on the ZNS television network.